Hi, hello. It is the Go Birds podcast presented by the Bet Park Sportsbook and Casino app. Elliot Shore Parks, James Seltzer with you as we count down the days. The NFC Championship game. Also, Elliot just made me aware. Comments in the live section. I'm going to stop hitting the table. I'll do the soft hit. So if you're listening, you know I like to hit the table. It's part of my I'm making a point and I'm slamming it home. I mean, literally and figuratively. I will do my best to avoid that.
Here's what people have to understand about James.
It's
a lovable quality.
Yes.
The man likes to move his body.
Yes.
So the knee, the hands.
Yes.
You know, at weddings, you love to dance.
Yes. I like to call myself kinetic. I have a lot of kinetic energy.
Good way to put it.
Yes. And believe it or not, my daughter just
can also see
so
that.
We've talked about this before. I don't know if I've talked a ton on the pod about it, but it's very funny because my daughter, thank God, is 80-20 Emily in looks.
Yes.
Thank you. Yes. Beautiful thing. She's got her hair. She's got her looks. She's got just a couple of my features, but mostly looks like Emily.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, she's 95.5 me in personality.
In terms of
full on, intense little creature who is always moving around.
So she'd be
like
slamming
this.
the table too.
Dude, so we'll let her sleep in her bed sometimes and all that when she's, going
when the
through
basement floods.
when she's on one, when the basement floods or whatever. And literally she will flip around 10 times. I'll wake up and her legs are over my back. She's she is.
That is insane.
She is me on steroids when it comes to movement and never shuts up. Maybe
don't give her coffee anytime soon.
She is a little seltz in every sense of the word. So
maybe she'll be an athlete.
The good and the bad. Yeah. Yes. She'll be a prime athlete.
Yeah.
So anyway. Good times. How you doing, buddy?
Doing good, man. I feel like, obviously it's Wednesday, so it's the middle of the week.
It's the middle of the week. It's always
It's always the middle of the week.
That's right. Yeah.
Wednesday.
Happy hump day.
There it is. Yes. Happy Wednesday, as some used to say.
It is funny that people, and again, no offense if you're other people, I'm not saying I hate it. I'm just saying it's funny. They're funny. You do the happy day there are people who do the happy day every day.
Yes.
It's happy Tuesday. It's it's Tuesday.
Yeah. Tuesday's easily the worst day of the week.
Give me a happy Friday or else I'm out. All right. I don't want any other happy days. That's my happy day.
You're not in on the Jonathan Gannon Happy Monday?
No,
not your thing.
Happy Monday is my least favorite. Because I know it's
right,
but none of us need it. It's earmuffs. 1, 2, 3. It's fucking Monday.
There it is.
All right, no one wants it on a Monday. All right, especially an Eagles lost Monday. Thank God we haven't had many of those. But enough with Happy Monday. Right. Happy any other day, I'm fine with it. Don't give me Happy Monday.
Tuesday is the worst day of the week. No question about it.
It's an interesting take.
So here's why I'm definitely right about it. It's not even close. Monday is
look. It's not even for discussion.
I get that it's the start of the work week, but at least there's it's Monday. There's a tad of excitement. The week is starting.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, I think that
especially if you like your job.
Well, that's what I was about to say. We are lucky in our job that Monday, especially in the football season, we're let's go react to an Eagles game, and we get to do that.
True.
I think I think your take right now is very specific to your point. To people like their job. I think a lot of people be bleep you, Mondays are way worse.
But here would be my
Tuesday. At least I'm a day into my week.
Well, no. Here, because Tuesday, you're a day in, but you're not even halfway done. You don't get any of the excitement. Job.
Again, but I'm saying there are a lot of people who there is zero excitement for Monday. They're not I start a new week. They're crap, my weekend's over. I got to go back to this job.
But to those people, I would say at least on Tuesday, you both hate your job and you're 3 days left.
Right, with Monday have 4 days left.
But I think everybody feels a little bit of excitement.
All right, this is very interesting.
People can
if you like your job, do not chime in on this. You are not a relevant discussing person. If you don't like your job, or if
rate the days Monday through Friday.
If it's a job where you grind it out, and a lot of people do, and I respect
all of it. Get the money.
Yeah, oh my God. I mean, I wish I could grind out. My brother, it's not like he loves his job, but he makes a ton of money and he grinds it out and he does a great job.
Yeah.
If you're one of those, let us know. What do you hate more, Monday or Tuesday?
So
I feel very confident.
Before we get to the Eagles, the obvious ranking is clearly Friday, Thursday.
Saturday.
Well, I'm not including weekends.
Okay.
Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Monday, Tuesday.
Monday. See, do you realize, even when you say it that way, you realize the flaw?
Because the flip is...
It's definitely the last 3 games, but then Monday's definitely better than Tuesday.
Because I'm saying at least Monday, there's a little bit of hey, didn't see you all weekend. What's going on? Tuesday, there's nothingness. You're just in the week. And Wednesday, you're at least halfway through. Thursday, tomorrow's
So
Friday, and then
Tuesday-
Friday is
Tuesday. You're a day further into the week if you don't like your job. You're like,
Right.
okay, I'm any days closer to the weekend is the better days. Is the idea.
I see your point. I just firmly disagree.
Okay. All right. Well, please chime in. I'm
Yes.
desperate to know who's right about this, even though I know I'm right.
Well, the other thing about the days of the week, we're gonna keep down this path, is
I didn't know we were. But
well,
I like it.
I was gonna say today's
Why
like
not?
I think today is the beginning of the championship week for the Eagles.
Oh, I like that.
You know,
take, Monday and Tuesday react
Yeah.
to the win.
Yeah.
Now turn the page.
Well, even just from a normalcy game plan perspective, like generally, Monday they're like resting. Tuesday, the media talks to coordinators. I think the players are in the building a little bit, but not really. Wednesday is where they come back. They're going to be all on the field together. They're all going to practice. I also think today is the day the NFC Championship trophy arrives to Philadelphia. Because in 2017, in 2017, when Doug talked on Wednesday, the trophy was in the room with a 40. Well, I was a Vikings helmet.
So can I throw something out there? And I made the noise there because it is a fun idea that the trophy's here and all that.
Yeah.
Don't care about the championship trophy. I only care about the Lamar. Like it's like whatever. Like I care about getting to the Super Bowl. Like that's fun. We get the full 2 weeks.
I mean, it's
and all
like a
that.
second place
But
trophy.
like, yeah, it's like I don't need that displayed. I don't need like, yay! Like that does nothing for me. I like the concept of the trophies here. The NFC will be decided on something. Like that's a fun concept. But like the trophy itself, like get out of here. Lombardi or nothing.
I agree with that. Like you're not touring the NFC trophy around the city. There's that, right?
Yes.
But I also think
it's an accomplishment. I'm not trying to diminish.
No, I know you're not. I'm not. But and this is, I can't believe, like an old school take from me. Like before there was the Super Bowl, if I'm not mistaken, it mattered to win. I could be wrong about this.
I mean, look, it still matters. The Eagles have won the Super Bowl 3 times, all right? It's not like I'm not going to be like, yes!
I was thinking though, so in the not only if they win on Sunday, well, there'll already be a banner because they won the NFCs. But I do think at this point, the banner that will hang up from winning the NFCs this year will be bittersweet to look at. Like no one's gonna look up at the banner and be like, "Wow, remember the 2022 team that won the division?"
Well, yeah, they gotta.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah. I mean, even look,
the
honestly,
conference win, like
even then though, I think that even then, like it'll be, again, I'll be happy they went to the Super Bowl. It'll be a successful season, hurts no matter what, right? But like when I look at that banner, I'll look at it and say, "Oh, that team should have won the Super Bowl." Like, I'm not gonna look at it and be like, "Yay, we won!" Like that was a good. They should have won the Super Bowl.
But and on that same token, like. So in the hallway that the Eagles walk out of when they walk out of their locker room, like, and then out into the field,
they tap an "I believe" sign, like
they do. Okay. Actually, have a soccer take at the end of this.
Oh, good. I have a baseball take at the end of this.
There we go.
There's our final thoughts previewed.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, but I wrote
fiery. Just heads up.
Yeah, watch out, table.
You're gonna get yeah. I need a fiery mouth. I wanted to do it yesterday. Sometimes about Zoe.
Yeah.
Sometimes about movies. Today it's about fire.
Well, I actually wrote down a take from yesterday, so maybe I'll give 2. But we'll talk.
Give 2.
I'll give 2.
That.
All right.
I want to.
So when the Eagles walk out,
I've been lacking. I've been doing a lot more.
You have been. You're right. When the Eagles walk out of their locker room and into the field, they walk through a tunnel, and on the walls are all like, the 1980 team, like the 2017 team. There's like 204.
Bednarik.
Sure, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there are old people on the wall, so I guess they're.
He wasn't old when he was playing.
Well, yeah. But the photos are black and white, so it must be the 1960 team. Yeah. But I mean, if they win on Sunday, like there will be a collage of this team, like Nick Sirianni holding the trophy, Jalen Hurts. Like, so here's another question before we get into the topic of the pod.
Oh, and the topic's coming, and that'll bring some fire too.
Yeah. Okay. So what they have right now.
Are we the only pod that waits like 10 to 12 minutes to get into our topic?
I know. It's all right.
It's our thing. It's what we do.
Yeah.
It's what we do.
I think it's because in radio you have to get right in. So we
like to get a little in before. Yeah.
But so in the hallway, they have a huge type of mural for 2017. Like it's twice as big as any other one.
As it should be.
If they win the Super Bowl this year, do they have to shrink it to make room for this year's Super Bowl team? Because there's no other Super Bowl one, right? Like then there's only so much wall space. So I think, and this is not going to be surprising to people, I think if they do, you got to cut out the Carson part. Like if you look at it, Foles is there, Graham is there, Ertz is there, Fletcher Cox is there.
This is so great, dude.
Right? Like, look, let's keep it real. Ever. And Carson also is at the end. There's a huge part of him.
This is your best take ever.
I think you have to.
I couldn't agree more.
Right? Like someone's got to go. There's only so much space.
And my thing with Carson, I am much more grateful for what he did than mad that
you can't cut Foles out. obviously. He was the Super Bowl
He's
MVP.
the greatest quarterback in the history
Yeah.
of the franchise.
Right.
Come at me. No, I
I mean,
think
maybe Fletcher if you want to stretch.
So hold
but-
up. So real quick, is that the same area as the NFC Championship winning stuff?
Yes,
So you
yeah.
just cut that out. Like,
Well, hold on, but I think
do you need the 2017 team winning is there 2017 NFC? Or
No, I'm
just
saying
Super-
it's like per team.
okay.
It's
So
like
get rid of the.
I don't think you can get rid of the early Eagles though, like the 02, 03, 04. Look, what's more important, those teams or Carson?
I agree. Fine. Get rid of. Look, I don't care. Get rid of Carson. I'm totally fine with this. But like, I also want to win more Super Bowls. What's our plan down the road here? You know.
It's a good point.
You
I
know,
guess build a new stadium with the
this
dome.
is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know, with the dome.
Honestly, just get rid of the 1960 team. What they should do is like,
you are
like just slowly push the old teams out.
Are you the number one Chuck Bednarik hater in the city right now? I feel
Yeah.
like when people think of Chuck Bednarik, they're starting to think.
You know who Chuck Bednarik is?
Oh,
He's
God.
basically like Brett Toth.
Okay. I would just like to say that the opinions of Elliott Shore Parks are not the official.
If you have to
opinions
play
of
two
of the
positions-
Go Birds podcast.
If you have to play two positions, you can't play one.
Oh, stop.
That's kind of
All
where I
right.
would go with it.
Hey, we reached our
You have to
point.
play
Oh,
two
table,
positions, you
sorry,
can't play one.
sorry, table. This is gonna be really hard.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're never going to accomplish it. But I at
Never,
least wanted
ever.
to say it so that
I
people were
appreciate
aware.
it.
Yeah.
And look, I put it out.
You
there.
did?
I'm
Yeah.
at least I recognize
I
it.
tried to
right?
find a picture of it.
So I'm really good at like in life, at like
really
what-
good at life.
I am.
Yeah, I
True.
don't disagree.
That's true too.
Yeah.
When I'm told, and usually by Emily, when I'm told like, can you not do this?
Yeah, I'm
Or
good at
can-
that too.
I'm very
Yeah.
good at getting there. Like I
Yeah.
just need to make it part of my habit, part of my thing. So the fact that I recognize that I hit it is like such a good sign. So
I
we're
agree.
headed in a good direction. All right, let's get into
I'm
our
very good
topic.
at following directions.
Yeah, me too.
It's a strength of
Yeah,
mine.
me too. Me too. All right. We'll get to our final thoughts later, some fire and all that. Let's get to our main topic, which is
Chris Sims.
the biggest jackass on the
All right, all right,
planet.
all right,
No,
here we
I'm
go.
sorry.
Here we
I'm
go.
sorry though. Like,
Here we go.
like at a certain
All right.
point, like you look like the biggest jackass on the planet. This guy is the biggest loser I've ever seen. Like we've all been wrong many times,
For
right?
sure.
One of the ethoses of this podcast is for those watching, hand up when we're wrong,
Yeah.
right? We put our
We're
hand
a
up,
hand
we
up
say,
pod.
my bad.
Yeah.
I was wrong about this one. We
Yeah.
both had to do it many times. I mean, Howie Roseman, could I have had a bigger?
Yeah.
Like, I was ready to literally drive him to the airport to fly him to Antarctica or whatever. And I am since come around and said, he's a Hall of Famer. He's the best general manager in the sport. I
Yeah.
wouldn't trade him for a full football team. Like sometimes, no matter how much you're on a hill you're dying
You
on.
want to hit
I'm-
the
I'm-
table
I'm
so
trying,
bad.
right?
Yeah.
No matter how high up on that hill you are, whatever it is, at a certain point, you have to step back and say, I freaking lost. I was wrong. I lost. And this bleep hole,
Mm.
like the Daniel Jones is a thrower over Jalen Hurts. You moron. Honest, I'm not kidding when I say this. Like I get it. It's jobs. It's, people are trying to get
Right.
clicks on. Look, he's getting us fired up. It's working and stuff. I honestly think he should be fired. Like, I think that's how abominable and embarrassing his inability to admit defeat is. I'm starting to wonder if there's ulterior motives. Does he hate Jalen Hurts for some reason?
Right.
Like it is totally destroying his credibility. I will never take anything he says seriously about anything. And if I was NBC, I'd get rid of him. That's where I'm at.
All right. So here's where I'm at with it. First of all, like there's a couple ways to look at this. There's 10% of me. Now we are a hands up pod, right? I think at this point he's dug his feet in on the Jalen Hurts thing. It's not the route I would take, but he has dug his feet in on it. And to a certain point, it's like, all right, if that's what you want to do, I respect you digging your feet in.
See, I don't. I get your point, but I never.
Like I
respect-
disagree.
At a certain point, I understand digging your feet in, but there is always a point where your feet gotta move.
Yeah,
And
I agree
will
with that.
never, ever
100%.
respect someone who refuses to move when they have to.
I say this all the time. Like, I think the best minds are willing to change their minds,
Yep.
right? And like, again, I'm wrong. I will have a super strong opinion on Monday. And if I learn something on Tuesday, I will say something different on Wednesday. It's just like how I am, right?
I have.
Yeah, right. So here's like the most recent thing he said about Jalen. And I'm sure everyone that's listening has heard it. But basically it was, if you switch Daniel Jones and Jalen Hurts, the result of Sunday's or Saturday's game is not that different. And he was saying, Daniel is basically just as good as of a runner, and that he thinks Daniel Jones is a better passer than Jalen Hurts. So there's three different comments there. One, he is right that if you switch Daniel Jones and Jalen Hurts, the outcome of the game is not different. The Eagles would still win. Now, hold on. Wait, let me just finish. Because the Eagles roster is so much better. I don't think the game would be closer.
They're not winning 38-7.
Exactly, right. But the Eagles with Daniel Jones and that coaching staff and that roster would beat Brian Daboll. Now, I think it'd be more competitive because Jalen is better at managing a game.
And there's also a whole other aspect. This is the Eagles are not the 1 seed with Daniel Jones.
No,
they're not sitting at home.
I agree with all
with
that.
A bye week playing, like especially with all the stuff off the field we talk about with Hurts, which is the single number one thing that all these freaking idiots, but particularly this guy, like everyone just looks at how's his arms? Like we were talking yesterday, like Justin Herbert, like best arm, this, that, like he's obviously great. Like, yeah, do people want to walk into battle with that guy? Will people like put their bodies on the line for that guy? Will people go to war for that guy?
Right.
Jalen Hurts is that guy.
Well, and this is what I feel.
I just hate Chris Sims.
But this is what I think he's missing, is what I'm trying to say. He's right that if you switch quarterbacks, the result of that game is the same. And he's right that if Jalen Hurts is a 10 as a runner, Daniel Jones is like, I don't know, a 7.5 or whatever, right? And the physical, just pure arm talent, like just throwing a ball, right? I think Hurts is definitely a better thrower than Jones. But again, like,
he's way better, just numbers wise. I mean, Hurts 70%
No,
completion. Right? I mean, it's absurd to say he's not as good. Like, I understand you're talking just pure arm strength, but again, that's foolish. Like, who cares about that? Is he going to say Drew Brees wasn't a good thrower of the football? Like,
but that's what I'm trying to get at.
This is nonsense.
That's what I'm getting.
This is this guy's job.
No, but that's what I'm trying to get at. What he's missing is that the Eagles are a good team without Jalen Hurts. They are a great team with Jalen Hurts, right? And it's not because he's so much more talented than Daniel Jones, even though he is close to so much more.
He's definitely more talented.
Yeah, he is 100% more talented, right? Like, I would not, again, I said I would offer Daniel Jones $8 million a year, right? So this is not a defense of Daniel Jones. But what I'm saying is Chris Sims and other people, when we had this whole debate, like Micah Parsons and all this stuff, what they miss is they look at Hurts too much as an individual entity. And I probably did this past offseason and look too much on, like, is his arm like Justin Herbert's, right? Like, and what they're missing is, to what you've just talked about, this team is just different when Jalen Hurts is under center. So yes, if you put Daniel Jones on the Eagles, maybe they win although the Cowboys were good this year, maybe they win the division just because the roster's so good, the coaching staff is so good, and Daniel Jones would be better on this team.
They probably don't beat the Cowboys.
Probably not.
The Cowboys
You're right.
Didn't really try in that last game of the season. They knew the Eagles were going to win. Like they could have had the exact same record if
they'd probably be the 6th seed. Probably the 5 seed. Right.
Probably be the 5 seed.
Yeah, right. So he's right in the way that because of everything is set up so perfectly, or not even perfectly, because it's such a good setup around Hurts, you could sub quarterbacks in, and like the result would not change in terms of one-on-one matchups. But what I'm saying is what Chris Sims keeps missing about Hurts. He missed it when he didn't put him in the top 40 thing, right? And we talked about this yesterday about the draft evaluation of Hurts and how it could change how we view quarterbacks. What he's continually missing, and maybe it's because he was a former quarterback, so like he's focused too much on mechanics and stuff. He's missing the intangible part of Jalen. And I think that's something that outside of Philly, for whatever reason, people don't seem to completely latch on to. Maybe it's because Hurts is a quiet talker. I don't know. But Hurts clearly has something in him that transcends like arm talent, like running talent.
That's what we've been saying this whole freaking time, though. Like,
and again, like another big difference is Daniel Jones was better about it this year. But Hurts, if you want to talk about two quarterbacks on the different ends of spectrums in terms of like turnovers, Daniel Jones has been, not this year, but one of the most reckless players in the league the last few seasons. Hurts is probably the most cautious quarterback. Not even cautious, because he does make
smart with
the ball, right? Because he will
not put the
do 50-50
danger.
Exactly.
More than any Eagles quarterback I remember in my lifetime.
Right.
Like, just in terms of consistently, I know he's young and he's all down. We'll see what happens. But like in terms of at this age, this season, like I don't ever in my life watching the Eagles, just for this one specific thing, I don't ever remember a quarterback putting the ball in danger less than Jalen.
Right. I agree. Like I've said, I think you could put on two hands the amount of turnover plays Jalen has had this year in terms of like his fault. That was reckless. Right. So what I would say to Chris Sims is like, I think you're missing part of Jalen's game.
Way nice for Chris Sims.
Yeah, I definitely would be.
You bleeping
hole. I would definitely be way nicer.
What is wrong with you, you dumb bleep?
Yeah.
That would be my...
It'd be a good introduction.
Fill in the bleeps how you like.
Yes. I don't think he'll be coming on the new morning show is the vibe. He's welcome to come.
Well, the thing is, he might be like booked on the morning show, but when I get him on the line before, he'll hang up because I'll go at him so hard before I even get him on the air. The camera will be like, where's Chris Sims? And I'll be like, my bad.
That'll be that. But this is like this is the other thing.
Bleeping moron.
Like he should come on the radio in Philly. Like it seems like he's won't.
Scared.
Like,
dude, he's scared. He is so butthurt. He is so butthurt with this. Like, I think part of it is he's just like, take my ball and go home. Look, he's there because of nepotism. Let's be honest. He's there because of his father. There's no two ways about it. He was a mediocre quarterback. Yes, he got the NFL. So mediocre is unfair. Mediocre NFL quarterback. Bad NFL. He got hurt. Who knows what his career would have been. He is where he is because of his father. Facts. Straight up facts. It is what it is. Let's call it like we see it. Call it like we see it.
I mean, look, I don't listen to Chris Sims enough to know how he is on other things. But I'm saying that what I think he's getting wrong, like I said about Hurts, is
everything. He's gotten everything wrong. He didn't have him in his top 40 quarterbacks.
Yeah, he was wrong about that.
He had him 25th going into this year.
Right.
And then after seeing Jalen just own the 38-7 on all times, and Daniel Jones throw for like 50 yards or whatever the hell it was, he still comes out and says it. No, there's no excusing. There's no explaining.
Right. But that's what I'm trying to figure out what he's seeing that's making him think this.
He's seeing that he doesn't want to be wrong. He won't admit that he's wrong. That's it. That's the only explanation for this. The only explanation for this is that he's wrong and he's refusing to admit it because he's tired of all these people coming at him and all that stuff. Right. And he's a freaking baby. That's what it is. He's a giant baby. They should dress him up in a diaper and a little pacifier and one of those little bonnets that babies wear, because that is what Chris Sims is. He's a baby who is wrong and won't admit he's wrong and is just digging himself a hole. So that's Chris Sims.
Look, he is
nailed
wrong.
It.
But I think Chris Sims aside too, and like to go off that topic. Like that's what people miss about Jalen.
I agree on
you know what I mean? Like
that's what get the credit.
Right. Deserves. Like again, and this is the stuff with the draft stuff. Like if you just and again, Jalen is physically talented. Like we talked about.
He went to Alabama and Oklahoma.
Yeah, almost won the Heisman. Right.
Like, you know.
But I do think that's what happens overall with Jalen. It's why he won't win the MVP, and he should win the MVP. But it's why he won't
for all that he does. Because it's ineffable.
Right. The stuff that he does doesn't.
You can't grab onto it. It's not tangible.
And I normally, to be honest, hate saying that which
is my favorite stuff.
Well, but it's because it's a lot of what people said with Ben, who's a specific example of Ben Simmons.
Which is different. That was physical skills and stuff. With Jalen, it's not physical stuff. It's all the off the field, the way he goes about his business, the work ethic, the dedication. All that stuff is what makes Jalen truly special. And it's why I wasn't betting against him coming into the year.
Right.
So it was like, whatever he's got in him, he's going to get it out of it.
Right. So I just think that with Jalen, the stuff he does doesn't show up on the stat sheet. Like the 0 in the turnover margin is never going to be, a top 10 stat of the week in terms of like, it's an important stat. Obviously we know that, but the fact that Jalen doesn't turn the ball over, I think is his best quality as a quarterback. So when Chris Sims sits there and says, if you swapped him, like he's right that yes,
you're giving him too much credit. He's not.
Well,
right.
no. Wait, let me.
They're a winning football team. They're not close to what they are.
No, but what he said was, if you swap the.
I think if Jalen's on the Giants, they have a chance to win that game.
Yeah, I do too. But I'm saying I think the Eagles.
I think he's still wrong.
But I think the Eagles would still win the game.
I think probably. Yeah. But if Jalen's on the other side, who knows what that dude could do with that? Like that team's better because of him.
The team is better. That's what I'm saying.
And everything is better.
And the Eagles are worse.
So
I agree with that.
I can't give Chris Sims he's right about any of this. He is just flat out wrong about Jalen Hurts. He's been flat out wrong from the beginning. He continues to
he's wrong about Hurts.
And again, let's forget the intangible stuff, which he's clearly missed and clearly wrong about. A lot of people miss. Like just to watch that football game, that one game, 38-7 in the playoffs where it matters, and to come out of it and have that take is all you need to know. Like it's all you need to know. It means that it didn't matter what happened on that field. It means it doesn't matter what Jalen Hurts does, that he's always going to say that. Like that's it.
Yeah,
like
and
he could never watch Jalen Hurts play football again. He's going to say the same thing over and over and over again because he thinks he's right and he's not backing off it. And that's an embarrassment.
But I think there's a lot of people out there that feel that way about Jalen, and I can't fully understand like why. Like I can't. I understood this past off season because we debated this. We talked about it with Eagles fans. Like there was, I think, coming into the season with Jalen, portions of fans who were like, I believe in him. He showed enough last year. Like he's Jalen Hurts. I believe in him. There were fans who were like, he can't throw the ball. I'm never going to believe in him. You'll never win with this guy. And I think the largest section was probably in the middle, which was like, I want to believe in him, but I don't know, man. Like that type of thing. I feel like for some reason with Jalen, and you saw it at Alabama, you saw it at Oklahoma, you saw it in the draft, you're seeing it now. You frankly even saw it with the Eagles at the beginning. There is something about Jalen that people seem to never want to fully buy in. Like, even if he wins the Super Bowl this year, it would not surprise me if there's still a lot of people that either publicly or privately would say like, well, a lot of quarterbacks would have won with that team.
Oh, team was just so good.
And like, I also, again, like I have been in that camp a little bit prior to the season, right? But I think everyone that's not watching every snap that the Eagles play every week. I mean, look, the Giants thing is a perfect example. The Giants played a game during the playoffs, right? They beat the Vikings, and everyone spent the full week talking themselves into like, well, like, blah, blah, this, that, whatever. And then the Eagles went out and just smacked them, right? Because the Eagles with Jalen at quarterback, when he's playing his game, are a special team, right? I think the Eagles probably would have beaten the Giants with Minshew. Like, that's how much better I think they were, right? But they don't win that game 38-7. They don't jump out 28-0. They don't jump out 14-0. Like, what Jalen does, and it's because people don't watch every snap, but like what he does for this team cannot be really kind of like fully seen on a stat sheet. And I think that's what a lot of people miss about him. It's what Micah Parsons missed. It's what Chris Sims missed. It's what, like, people that picked 2 over him at Alabama missed. Like, there's just something about Jalen that doesn't fully register with people who aren't around him and don't see him every snap. And the good news is it doesn't matter because he's in Philly and the people that are deciding to pay him are around him all the time. And we do see him all the time. And we know he's someone you want to attach your franchise to. But I don't know what it is about Jalen that always like doesn't register with a lot of people.
Yeah, no. And again, I do think it's part not seeing him every day and not seeing the impact and the import that he has on,
right.
On the off the field type of stuff. And look, I do shout out to all the people who pointed out that it's quite hilarious that Micah Parsons ended up losing to a literal system quarterback, which
good point.
Top tier stuff.
Also, Micah Parsons, for what it's worth, like, look, I think Micah Parsons is awesome.
He dropped off.
Here's the thing about Micah Parsons now. People are doing the thing where they'll over-exaggerate what he does because he's not getting sacks and he's not making big plays. So it'll be like, man, look at the way he commanded that double team, or like, look at the way he almost got Brock Purdy. Like, Hassan Reddick is out there actually sacking guys, So I think that while Micah Parsons is awesome, he's probably, if not the best defensive player in the league, he's like in that short conversation, right? I do think him and Brian Dable have been crowned a little early. Like, go out and accomplish a little bit more before it's like, without question, you're all pro type of thing.
All right. Quickly, because we'll get to our final thoughts. We have a ton of time left before, have to get to work. But the Burrow, Mahomes, Hurts thing kind of becoming a topic, which it should be, because I've said to you for months now on this pod that those are the only 3 guys that I like. Those are my top 3 guys in the NFL, both today to win a game right now. If healthy, Mahomes, obviously, right now you take Burrow and Hurts over him. But even moving forward, like if I'm starting my team with a quarterback, it's one of those 3 guys. And for me, there's a gap, like not a massive one, but it's like a gap before Herbert or whoever's next.
Mm-hmm.
Like those are my 3 definitively. Now, how I rank those 3 goes back and forth. Like Hurts because the off the field stuff could be number 1. I think Burrow might be the guy I trust the most to go out and win a football game right now. Just the way he goes about his business and playing with that O-line. If you put him on the Eagles, like that kind of stuff. And then Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes who's done it. Like I'm actually really torn on this about who I think is the best of these guys. I think if I had to pick one for the next decade, I think I probably would go Hurts just because the way he goes about his business, but it's between him and Burrow. But if I had to win a game tomorrow, I might pick Burrow. I don't know. It's between the crazy enough because Mahomes is the clear answer, and yet I'm on the Hurts Burrow side, and maybe I'm going with recency bias.
So here's how I would rank them. Of Burrow, Hurts, and Mahomes, I would rank them like this. Number 1 for me is Joe Burrow because of what because of what he's already accomplished.
And the swag and the way he goes. He's got the same Hurts type stuff. He does it in a different way, but he feels similar to me in Hurts in the idea of like he gets guys.
Yeah, I think if you were around Burrow, you would feel the same way.
I'm going to run through a wall for this guy.
Exactly.
I'm going to go do everything I can to help this guy win. I'm going to and the processing, the ball placement, all that stuff. Like he is phenomenal.
He is everything. Now, the check marks against him is he's not a mobile quarterback.
He's not dynamic.
And
he's very pocket mobile, and he can run, like he can get you 20, 30 yards in a game if you need it in big spots and stuff. He's not like immobile, but I agree. He's not
but I think that there's like 2 types of quarterbacks. Well, there's not really many statues anymore. There's 2 types of quarterbacks in the league now. There's ones that can maneuver the pocket and like get you 8 yards if everything breaks perfectly. And then there's guys who the defense has to literally worry about running the ball.
I think that's
and
fair.
Burrow is not that,
Agreed.
right?
100%.
And Mahomes can be.
Mahomes kind of in between.
He's kind of in between, yeah. But so here would be my argument for Hurts over Mahomes. We just talked about how if you put like Daniel Jones on the Eagles or whoever, another quarterback on the Eagles, what the results would be. I think if you put Mahomes on the Eagles, the results might be worse. because I think we underestimate what Hurts does for the running game. Mahomes would not do that for the running game. The Eagles would not be as good of a running team with Mahomes under center. And another reality of Mahomes is the guy throws a lot of interceptable passes. He just does. Now, he throws it a lot, which is part of it. But if you look at the games they've lost in the playoffs, the Super Bowl, he threw 2 interceptions. He was under fire that whole game, but he threw 2 interceptions. He threw, I believe, 3 interceptions last year against Cincinnati, right? Now, Hurts last year in Tampa was bad, and that's part of it for sure. But I think Hurts, in some ways, if you gave Burrow, Hurts, and Mahomes the exact same playoff roster, I think they'd be the best team with Hurts because he takes care of the ball, which is huge. It's a huge part of this conversation, right? The other huge part of the conversation would be, can he take advantage of the weapons around him? Hurts gave a career year to A.J. Brown, a career year to Devontae Smith, a career year to Dallas Goedert. So if you put Jamar Chase and T. Higgins on the Eagles or you put Jalen on the Bengals, I think they would have awesome years. The other key thing Jalen has going for him is that he is, of the 3, without question, the biggest threat to run the ball. The Chiefs, and look, part of it's Andy for sure. The Chiefs have never been in the top half of the league running the ball with Mahomes at quarterback, right? With Jalen Hurts on the Eagles this year, they were arguably the best running team in the entire NFL, if not top 3 without question, right? So if you put Hurts on 3 equal rosters, like I think Mahomes would make a bad roster better than Hurts would, just because Mahomes does more like creating in a way. But I think if you want to talk about like a robot quarterback that you would put on a playoff worthy roster, I think it's Hurts because of what he does for the running game, the lack of turnovers, the leadership. And again, the key part, he has shown he can absolutely make the most in the pocket of any weapons you put around him. So does Mahomes make more, no look throws, more turnover worthy throws? Yes, he does make more highlight throws. But I feel very confident if you just put Hurts in the place of Mahomes or Burrow on the exact same roster that's like in the playoffs, I think they'd be the best with Hurts.
Look, I'm with you. And again, like they're, in my opinion, the clear 3 guys. Like,
see, I still think, look,
I know you do.
Josh Allen did not have the year, but he's 4.
I forgot. I think he's 4. Him and Herbert are 4 and 5. He's done more than Herbert. But again, like I wouldn't like. That's what I'm saying is like when I do the Burrow Mahomes Hurts thing, like I jump back and forth. I'm like, oh no, it's Hurts. I gotta take Hurts. Oh, it's definitely Burrow. I gotta pick Burrow. Like, well, oh, it's freaking Mahomes. What are you talking about? Like, I like the other, like when you say, all right, any of those 3 versus Josh Allen, I'm like, Burrow, Hurts. Like it's not even. I don't stop and think about it. Same thing with Herbert. I don't stop thinking about it. And this could change. Look, this changed from last year. Hurts wasn't in this discussion. This could change. But right now, today, if I'm starting a football team, I'm taking one of those 3 guys. And I'm not even thinking, like, if I get the 4th pick in the draft, I'm trying to trade into the top 3. Like, that's how much I want those 3 guys compared to the others.
So here's an interesting question. If there was a draft of every player in the NFL, where would Hurts go? Because at the beginning of the year, there was, look, we thought he would go in the first round because he's a quarterback, but there was, legit debate about if he would be a first round pick, right? Because of, I think quarterbacks would obviously be overvalued in this, or not even overvalued. They would be priority in this type of draft because if you don't take one at, 4, you're not taking one again until 38 or whatever. But I think if there was a redraft, like all the players went into a pool and every team got to draft 1 through 32, where do you think Hurts would go?
It's really fascinating. And again, because this is how the league values him, not out. Like, again, I would take him top 3.
Yeah,
my guess is he's top 5, still top 6, top 7, somewhere in that range. Like, I think I could see Herbert going ahead of him because of,
I think Allen would go ahead.
I don't know. The Allen thing, like, Allen might need Tommy John surgery or something. Like, we don't know what his deal is. Like,
health, you're right.
Yeah,
if health,
like
it could be a factor there, right?
Who knows? And if he's out for a year with Tommy John, you're definitely not drafting him in Jalen Hurts. And also, look, every single one of these guys older than Hurts, like 2-3 years older than Hurts.
Yeah.
Like, that is a factor if we're talking about starting a team from scratch too. So I don't know. I think Hurts is probably a top 5 to top 6 pick.
It would be fascinating to see where Chris Sims would take.
I think those are the top 6. All the names we mentioned, I think it's Burrow, Mahomes, Hurts, Allen, Herbert.
Well, the wild card I would put in there.
Who did I pick? I missed someone else.
It would be Mahomes,
not
in order, but Mahomes, Burrow, Hurts, Allen, and hold on.
Oh, Trevor Lawrence. I'm sorry. Trevor Lawrence would be.
So that was going to say, I think Lawrence would be the one where if like we're watching draft night and it's
NFL
like, whoa,
teams,
like he goes like 3, like that would
certainly possible.
Although he did not have a good playoff.
Nobody did have a great half against
He
the
did, for
Chargers
sure.
won
And
that
he had a
game,
great second half of
but
the
he had
year.
big missed opportunities in Tuesday. Anyway, it's a fascinating conversation. So I'm excited to see how it progresses. And look,
I mean, look, if Hurts wins a Super Bowl this year,
it's hard to argue.
It's hard to argue against him not being number one in the NFL because
Mahomes
again,
the only one because then Mahomes also won a Super Bowl. You could say,
yeah.
And look, if Burrow gets there twice in a row, that's untrue. So we got a lot of these
right. But
things.
if Hurts beats Burrow,
agree,
yeah,
but it depends how it happens. Burrow could. I mean, we saw Tom Brady throw for 505 and lose
for sure.
Right? Where you're not going to come out of that game and say, "Oh, Brady lost it."
But what's crazy to kind of button this topic up?
Yeah, we need to.
Yeah, for sure. To button the topic
work
up.
time.
Yes, to button the topic up. Like there's just something people miss about Jalen.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is. Whether it's Chris Sims, whether it's
whoever.
whoever.
And let's say Chris Sims misses way more about it.
He's off on Hurts.
God, I hate the guy. Like flat out a-hole. I'm sorry.
He is sticking to the bit. And I don't really stick to bits, to be honest.
I
don't.
I don't think it's a bit.
Oh, I think
he gets angry about it. Like he gets like, dude, that one a couple weeks ago was like cursing, like bleep you ESPN, bleep you and put me on time. Like he's again, that's why like I wasn't joking when I did the whole baby thing because he does sound like a baby. Like if you just turn the video off and just listen to the audio, like he sounds like Zoe when she's whining at me. But Dad, I don't like Jalen Hurts. He's not as good, and everyone's mad at me about it. Why won't ESPN have me on to talk about it? Man. That's what Chris Sims sounds like to me. Like I feel like honestly that might be the best impersonation of someone I've ever done because I feel like I just nailed it.
Yes. Look, you obviously.
I hate the guy.
You hate the guy. You hate the guy. It's okay.
What he's doing is weak.
I was really quick, super, super quick. If they win the Super Bowl, does Jason Kelce give the same type of speech? Or if you're Kelce, do you not give a speech because you'll never be able to?
Oh, I don't. I think Kelce, I think if you're Kelce, you get up there and say like, here's Jalen Hurts or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's what
like,
you do.
Know what I mean? Or here's
you'll never top it.
Like you can't. Like don't even try.
Yeah,
just leave it as,
exactly.
By the way, do you see? And we gotta get around this because I really have to go. You see that I didn't realize this, but if the Chiefs and the Eagles make it, the Kelces will be the first brothers in the history of the sport to play against each other in the Super Bowl.
No, that feels right though.
It feels great.
Dude, their pod is going to be out of control.
Oh, I thought you want to talk about numbers.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get to our final thoughts. You have two.
I have two.
Go ahead.
So one is far less interesting, but I feel like I want
to do the less interesting one, then I'll do mine, then we can end on yours.
Okay. So, dude, you know how Leeds United signed Brendan Aronson and Tyler Adams were both American players?
So I love how you say you know. I actually did know about Aronson because I feel like we talked about it. I had no idea Tyler Adams.
Okay.
Tyler Adams.
There you go.
Captain of the
exactly. Yeah. So he's on Leeds, right?
About that?
Yeah. Well, they did it a long time ago. So yeah.
But so the point is he's been
on the team all year. Right.
Good.
So they're now signing.
How much Leeds I know.
Well, maybe you'll know this player. They're now signing Weston McKennie, who is another American player.
Yeah, sure.
So here's the thing. Here's the thing. It's exciting. I think like if you're listening, you're not into soccer. Leeds is
like
the
sign some better.
Well, it's just I feel like again, I guess the theme of the show is bits, but like it feels a little much. A little much. Like we get it, and they have look. You know what's funny? You know what Americans own Leeds?
I've heard this before. Tell me, I've heard this.
The 49ers.
Yeah, I knew that is. Yeah, I knew it was something.
So
like that.
Anyway, it just feels I'm into it. I like Weston McKennie. It's fun. I'll enjoy like seeing him post Instagram about Leeds. It's a bit much.
Yeah, I would feel the same way. Like, go sign some freaking like.
And they are. That's what's crazy. But
it's
just
some Italians and some Frenchies.
And they did. They just signed a French striker for a ton of money. But like it just. I don't even blame them. I think they're doing it because they know it makes them more attractive in America. Which look, go get the money. Hopefully they come play here. Like that would be awesome. But it feels a bit much.
Yeah, I think it's a bit much. I agree with that.
Okay. You're gonna freaking hate my next one.
That's fine. I'm gonna keep this pretty tight and not go on the ring because I have to go to work and all that. But like, and I normally get way too worked up, and I've already got worked up over Chris Sims.
Yeah, you're pretty worked up this morning.
So I'm just honestly, I used to get really angry about this, like really angry, like to the point where I would rant and rave about it, and now I'm just beaten down.
Okay.
Now I just don't even care. And the Baseball Hall of Fame. It's so dumb. Like Scott Rowland.
Well, the Hall of Fame in general is
Scott Rowland. Like he was a fine baseball player, and I know that the stat community and all. Oh, look at the numbers. Right. And he was a great defensive player, and like there are guys and all like he's Brooks Robinson, fine, whatever. Like he was top 5 in MVP once in his freaking career. He was fourth one time. He was like top 20 one other time. Like that's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah,
that's a Hall. This is supposed to be the best of the best of the best, the elite. This is the greatest players to ever play the sport. And now it's so watered down. They let Harold Baines in. They let Scott Rowland in. They're not letting in the literal greatest players who played the sport because they, either they did take steroids or they assume they took steroids. Right. And they're letting in other guys who they assume didn't, but have no idea who did and who didn't. Like, could Rowland have taken steroids? Of course he could have. He played during the steroid era. Like, right. I don't know that he did or didn't. I have no idea. Right. But Buster only said in the past, he thinks like 90% of guys were taking it at that time. Like, it's just so stupid. And these moral lines drawn in the sand were like, I'm not going to vote in a steroid guy, but I'll vote in a guy because I don't know if he did steroids. Right. Like, how silly is that? How dumb is Barry Bonds? The best player I ever saw in my life, ever, in any sport. He's the best player I've ever seen, and he's not in the freaking Hall of Fame.
I agree.
It's the dumbest thing in the world. Thank you.
I was going to say, I wish you guys could see how worked up James is, but you can't see it. I agree. I think that for the Hall of Fame in general, and this is a longer discussion, we'll have another day, maybe an off-season day, like how we'll fix the Hall of Fame.
Sure.
I think part of it is I just don't love the fact that media gets such a big say in this. Like, I don't.
That's the way it's always been.
I know, but and look, I'm a media member, and it would be dope if I got a vote one day. I probably never will. But, like, I just, even with all-star games and stuff, I'm like, everybody has bias. This idea that the media,
so players.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying though. Everybody does.
You're saying it should be a mix of everything.
I would be okay, and this is a radical thought, if there was almost like you have to accomplish a certain amount of things in your career to qualify. So like you have to like.
Oh, I get what you're saying.
And I don't know what it would be.
Then it's just
right.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, because look, I'm with you on this whole thing, especially like. There are a lot of writers who haven't covered the game in years, and they still have their vote.
Right.
Like if nothing else, tighten this stuff up. But then the idea, it's like, all right, so you cover the Colorado Rockies, let's say, right? And you have a Hall of Fame book. So you covered the Rockies for a decade. Yeah. It's like, are you watching the Phillies every day? Do you know how good a player Chase Utley was, or do you just see him 3 times a year when and then you look at his numbers and all that? Like is
Utley eligible?
Utley is
because
I
saw
Utley's not. Yeah, I think I think he's next year. I could be wrong. Right. He might have been on this ballot. I could check, but
I mean, and look, this has always been my argument of why Nick Foles. This has always been my argument why Nick Foles should be in the NFL Hall of Fame, because ultimately the Hall of Fame is telling the story of the league, and you can tell the story of baseball without ever bringing up Scott Rowland. There's no reason to ever talk about Scott Rowland if you're talking about the history of baseball, right? Not even close. Like Barry you would Bonds, have to really.
Can you talk about this?
You cannot. Right. All right. So
yeah, especially because it's technically supposed to be a museum.
That's what I'm saying. The Hall of Fame in all sports should be the elite, and you tell the story of the league. Right? Darren Sproles, Hall of Famer in my eyes. Right? Like, yes. Thank you. All right. So here's my take. Ready?
Oh God.
I think that the movie that wins Best Movie of the Year, like Best Picture of the Year, right, should be the movie that made the most money that year.
This is just hard.
Because it's the movie that most people saw.
That doesn't mean it's the best movie.
It does in the way that like the most people went and saw it. It was the movie people wanted to. It
wins most money. It's way more important than the Best Picture. It got the most money. It makes careers. People can do whatever they want after. Like, yeah, they win. It's a different thing.
The box office thing.
I know. I'm saying if you're the number one box office movie, you make a lot of money.
No.
The actors make a lot of money. Their careers are made. Right. All these things, like you're good.
No, you're missing my point.
The Best Picture is a separate thing.
No,
it has nothing to do with that.
No. What I'm saying is, maybe money wasn't the right term. What I'm saying is the movie that sold the most tickets, the movie that was seen the most.
I just said.
Yeah.
Yes, they are. That movie is making the money already. It doesn't need Best Picture. It's already got all that money.
No. But what I'm saying is the reason it's the Best Picture is because the most people went and saw it.
That's a really dumb thing.
Just saying. I'm just saying. Like,
I might ban you from movies.
I'm just saying if you think about it, when you let me ask this: when you make something, right? Whether it's a song, a movie,
things
a
are
sandwich,
made for different reasons.
I get that. 100%.
Some things are made to be art, and they're not made to assume that everyone is going to see them. That's the whole point of movies and of art.
Right.
It is not just mass entertainment all the time. And this is a way to honor. And look, Top Gun Maverick was the second highest grossing movie of the year. It's nominated for Best Picture. It goes both ways because it was a great movie. But the point is that movies are made for different things. So like you're not honoring what was the moneymaker. They're just separate things. Like this is a dumb.
Let me finish what I'm saying. Okay. What I'm saying is if a movie is seen by the most people that year, it's because it was the most popular movie of the year.
Right. The most popular.
Hold on. But who are we to say what's best if the most people went and saw that movie? Clearly,
did the most
that
people
means
like
something.
that movie? How do you know that most people didn't go see
it?
If people, I went to see Titanic with all those other people. I hated it. It sucked.
But I'm saying
and that also won Best Picture. You go both ways.
Right. But I'm saying
no. This is a very dumb thing.
It's. I think it's actually factual in a way that
if they are. Yes, it is the most seen, most popular movie.
Yes.
This is a separate thing. It's not saying what's the best movie.
But I'm saying best is subjective. Would you agree with that?
Of course.
Yes,
That's
right,
the point.
okay.
So you can't prove
Yes.
it by just what
No,
made
no.
the most money.
But what I'm
Do you
saying is,
understand?
yes. But what I'm saying is, in you can argue non-biased, non-objective. The movie that the most people saw, in theory, is in theory the best movie because the most people saw it. Like that's a factual number thing. When you're saying best, that's objective. Like you don't think Scott Rowland should be in the Hall of Fame.
The whole
I don't
point is
either.
it's subjective.
I know,
It
I
is
get that.
supposed to be
Right, right.
subjective.
I get
it's not
that.
supposed to be defined by this.
I get
What are you
that.
talking
No,
about?
but what I'm saying is there is a logic where the movie.
There's no logic
All
in
right,
this.
we
This
disagree
is the
on this.
least logical thing you've ever said.
I completely
It
disagree.
is the most popular movie of the year, the one that
Yes.
makes the most money. Boom, done. Yes, that's how
Right.
it is now. That doesn't mean it's the best. Best is subjective. That's a silly thing
No,
to
no,
say.
but it's like saying, okay, if we were to
That's
say,
like saying,
hold
all
on,
right,
hold on,
everyone
okay.
listens to one radio show. Is it the best radio show? Is that your favorite radio show? Do you think it's the best?
Well,
Not necessarily.
well,
It just might be the one that most people listen to. Like, this
but
is what
no,
are you
hold
talking
on,
about?
but hold on. What you're missing is if the most people listen to it.
This is the dumbest
No,
argument.
it's not. It's like if you go to a sandwich shop and you're like,
it's again, you said by saying
Okay.
best is subjective. So best can be subjective in your mind, saying best is the one that makes the most money or the most people see. Best in my mind can be what is the most enjoyable or the most well made or this. Best in his mind can be this. Like it's
Right, right.
subjective. So
I
there is
get
no
that.
way to qualify it.
Well,
What are you
but what I'm
talking
saying
about?
is there's no, yes, but what you're describing is something that can't be qualified. I'm saying the way I'm going about it, there is like a clear cut, like this movie sold
I gotta
the
go to
most
work.
tickets.
This is the dumbest argument. I hate it.
You're
Like,
not missing, you're missing
No,
my
I
point.
think your point is dumb.
No, but you're
I think it is
okay.
dumb as it's Chris
Okay.
Sims-esque
All
right
right,
now.
all right.
Like what's the movie that makes the most money is the best movie of the year. That's
I
your
think
point.
that makes the most sense.
The dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Well,
He's
we
Elliot
disagree.
James. The dumbest take
All right.
from it. We finally got there. Worse than his acting.
No,
technique.
I
Of course,
disagree.
it's the most popular movie of the year.
That's
but
what I'm saying.
Best is subjective. What do you mean? Like, so just like, best movie of the year, whatever makes the most money.
You're
it's
missing.
the best.
You're missing my point.
It's the best in money making.
Right.
But no, but there is no point here.
There
It's
is a
subjective.
point. You're
So
not
what's
hearing
the
it.
point?
I'm trying to explain it to you. Okay, ready? What I'm saying is when you say something is the best, right? The best thing at something. There is an argument to be made that what makes it the best is the most people consume it, right? So like if we're talking at a sandwich
That
shop,
is a very capitalist argument. Yes,
I-
you're right.
I'm just saying, but what you're saying is when you describe best, there's much more variable there in terms of like what people thought was the best for this reason, for that reason. And I'm not saying that's a wrong way to go about it. But what I'm saying is when you just say what something is the best, a very easy way to go about it is they sold the most of it. Right. So like at a sandwich shop, if I say,
This is
what's your
really
best?
dumb.
Hold on. If I say to sandwich shop, what's your best
Sandwich is
sandwich?
not like this is like do you
But-
like Elliot, but I get
I
what you're
right.
saying. Like I get you don't have to keep explaining it.
Well, you
I
keep
understand
saying you're
your
not
point. You're
getting
saying
it.
that you think
Right.
the movie that makes the most money should be
Right.
considered the best movie of the year.
Yes.
I get it. It's a very
Right.
simple point.
Yes.
It's moronic.
That's
'cause
where we
best-
disagree.
Every single person's gonna have the best movie of the year. What I think is the best movie of the year
Right.
might be different from what the best picture says is the best movie of the year.
Right.
It's still my best movie of the year. This is a subjective thing. Like, what are
Yes,
you talking about?
But that's what I'm saying.
You're saying
It's
the Oscars
removing-
should just say no Oscars this year. Whatever makes the most money gets it. It's about voting. It's about everyone
Yes.
putting their opinion in. And the most people who agree on an opinion get to win.
I
like,
get
it's
that.
voting.
But
what are you
you
talking about?
no, but that's what I'm saying. You're missing the subjective. I'm removing the subjective part of it.
But you
Yeah.
can't remove the subjective part. That's the point. All you're doing, they have that already. It's the highest grossing film of
Yes,
the year.
yes.
It's what it is. This
Right.
movie made the most money. It was the highest grossing movie of the year. That's what it is.
Right.
Like best is always going to be subjective. There's no way to just because the Oscars hand out a best picture winner, that doesn't mean it was the best movie of the year.
Right.
Do you understand that?
Yes, I get that.
So there's no way to
Right.
qualify this. Like I don't understand what you're trying to do.
We
here.
disagree on this.
No, you're
Yeah.
there's no point. You're just saying
You're-
make the highest grossing movie the best movie. Like it's
Right.
really shallow. I don't understand like what your point is.
Because
Like,
what I'm saying is what me and you consider the best could be different, right?
of course,
yes.
everyone is. There is no agreed upon best movie of the year.
But
We
I'm
all
saying
have our
one
own
way to.
opinions.
But what I'm saying is one way to agree
We
upon
don't
it. is-
know because no one would agree. Just because you say the highest grossing movie of the year is the best movie, I'm not gonna be like, whoa, yep, it's the best movie.
Okay.
That's dumb. It's
But
the highest
that's
grossing.
right. But you're
We're
saying.
stop. We're done. This
Well,
is
but
dumb. This is
last
dumb.
thing I'll say
This
is
the dumbest
You're
argument
saying
I've
your
heard.
way of judging thing is a better way than my judging thing, but that's your opinion.
That's not what I'm saying.
You are saying that. How is that not
You're
what you're
not
saying?
listening to me. I'm saying that everyone has their own best movie and everyone has it for their own
Right,
reasons. And
correct.
some of us agree and some of us don't. That's
Yes.
all. I'm saying no one can choose the best movie and say this is the best movie. We all have our opinions.
Yes.
Just because the Oscars pick a best picture, that doesn't mean it's the best movie of the year. Do you understand what I'm
Yes,
saying?
of course I understand.
We will
that. Of
never
course I
agree
understand
on what it is, but I do think that if they do vote and if the vast majority, what's the best movie of the year, very often it will not be the best picture. Once or the highest grossing. It'll
Okay.
almost never be the best picture ever
Fair
in
enough.
the Oscars.
Fair enough.
Like I just, it's so crazy. I don't understand your point.
You don't understand it.
You
You're
just have
right.
to be no. I understand what you're saying.
Right.
I don't understand why. Like,
Because
it's so dumb.
And we could keep going on this.
No, it's not.
I'm
He's
saying,
Elliott-
like,
it's
all
not.
right.
It's the dumbest argument ever.
It's not.
Go
All right.
Birds. He's Elliott.
All right. You just, I don't think you're getting.
I
what I'm
get
saying.
it. I
Okay.
just, what's the point? Like, what? Like, they're. I would never say like.